Hey guys, or 1 through 4 here. I'm sorry there isn't that interview with Drew isn't up yet. We had some unforeseen issues on Saturday, so we weren't able to record it. It should be coming this week, by the end of the week. It will be coming eventually. This week at Locals, I ran Living Heroes. It's another hero variant. I think it's really powerful. The only match I lost was in the finals. I came in second. It was against Wind-Ups. My biggest thing is the Wind-Up guy got the loop off all 3 games, and I was barely able to clinch it. I was able to clinch it game 2 because Wind-Ups obviously sometimes have problems late game keeping advantage, and if they don't finish me off right away, I'm liable to come back. Game 3 was incredibly close. He just at the end of the game, he had every back row that he needed, like the exact combination of back row to stop me from killing him. But if this build was like a more traditional hero build, it would have, I probably would have been able to beat him, but I beat regular hero beat, I beat 6 Samurai, I beat Dark Worlds. It was a good tournament, but the deck isn't actually completed. The extra deck is still missing some cards, namely Heroic Champion Excalibur. There was actually, I would have won game 1 against Wind-Ups if I had Excalibur. For those of you who don't know, Heroic Champion Excalibur is a rank 4 warrior type Xyz monster with 2000 attack. Its effect is, once per turn during other players' turn, you can detach 2 Xyz materials from it to double its attack until your opponent's next end phase, so it becomes 4000. And I would have been able to OTK him if I had Excalibur. But anyways, I'll move on to the deck. First, we'll start out with the monsters. There are only 8 of them in the deck. First, it's obviously your elemental hero Stratos. You're playing heroes. Stratos is staple. Next is your 3 elemental hero Bubblemans. Bubbleman is crucial to this deck because of his whole special summoning ability, and it is sort of neat if you do get a second effect off. I got it off twice in the tournament. Actually, Bubbleman's second effect is why I won game 2 against Wind-Ups, because all I had was emergency call, and I grabbed Bubbleman and specialed and got the extra 2 draws because I needed them more than the Stratos search and go for rank 4. We have 3 Bubbleman. Next, 3 elemental hero Neosalius. He's obviously 1900 beater, light, Gemini. It's Neosalius. You run him for a reason. And then 1 effect failure in the main deck. The reason why there's only 1 in the main deck is because you don't want to have monsters in your hand. Like, at most, you want to have 1 monster in your hand, because you want to be able to special as many times as you want to. And effect failure sometimes clogs that. I don't like having to waste my normal summon to summon effect failure so I can get my specials off. Granted, it is very convenient. I won a couple of games just because effect failure plus any of my other cards equals Cataster, so it's really good. So yeah, this is the 8 monsters you're running in the deck. Stratos, your 3 Bubbleman, your 3 Neosalius, and your effect failure. That's all of the main deck monsters. The rest of the deck is 32 magic cards. The reason why it works is because most of these magic cards search out things like crazy. So I'll just go through it real quickly for you. Or, well, not super quickly, but you got your staples: Reborn, Darkhole, Heavy Storm, Book of Moon. You know, staples. Stuff you pretty much always are going to run. All these, Book is really good in this deck because being able to stop your opponent's bigger monsters is crucial. 1, Mind Control. It lets you steal your opponent's monsters to fuse with or Xyz with. Mind Control is just really good in this deck. Clearing your opponent's field is highly important. 3 Mystical Space Typhoons and 2 Night Beams. Very important for clearing back row, because you want to be able to swing in with as much as you can. The goal of this deck is just to win in one turn, and you need back row destruction to do that. That's why I'm running all of these. Unfortunately, if you're facing Chaos Dragons, these cards are completely dead, and you have to side them out. What you're going to do, you're always going to have cards that are dead against another deck, and these are so good against other decks it doesn't even matter. So, essentially 5 MSTs, 2 Pot of Dualities, obviously to add a little bit of consistency. You really don't need them, they're just there to thin the deck. 3 Gemini Sparks. Not as important as they are in regular Hero Beat, but they're still really good to be able to clear that back route and get that extra draw in. Next, 1 Reinforcement of the Army and 3 emergency calls. Obviously, you need to search your heroes out because you only have 8 monsters. So you got these search cards. But those aren't your only searches. I'm also running 3 copies of A Hero Lives. The half your life points is completely worth it to set up an OTK. Like, you get the Hero Lives, pull your Shadows out of the deck, search whatever you need to, summon, special. Like, on average, you'll probably end on 2 to 3 Xyz monsters and potentially a fusion monster. It's really good. Next, 3 copies of a Warrior Returning Alive. This card is really busted in this deck because when you detach your Bubble Man, you Warrior Return it back to your hand and you special it again. Also, like, if you used A Hero Lives and you go for Blade Armor Ninja, you detach the Shadows, Warrior Return the Shadows back, re-normal summon it, grab another Bubble Man and special it again, get you another 2 monsters. Like, I've never thought I would run a deck maining 3 Warrior Returning Alives, but it is busted in this one. Next, Future Fusion. You really don't care if this gets off. It's only to set up your graveyard, like Future Fusion always is. 3 Miracle Fusions. You obviously want to get your fusions off, and they're relatively easy to get off in this deck. I have never had a dead Miracle Fusion. And then 2 Super Polys. Obviously helps you clear your opponent's field and more fusions. And the last card in the deck is 1 Assault Armor. Assault Armor can only be equipped to a warrior type monster that is the only monster that you control. So once you get your first guy out, you equip it to him. It gains 300 attack, which isn't very important. I mean, granted, it's helpful to get over some of the slightly bigger normal summonable monsters, but the most important part is the second effect. During your main phase, you can send this to your graveyard to let the monster that's equipped with it attack twice. This card plus Excalibur wins the game. Even without it, like, equipping this to a Shining with that's 32, that's 6,400 points of damage swinging at your opponent. They're not going to like it. But, yeah, Assault Armor, really good in this deck. That's the main deck. Onto the side. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Missed 2 cards. The side is tentative to change as always. There are a couple of things I used all the cards in my side deck, which I'm glad I did, but you know, some of the cards were less useful than others. 2 Electric Virus for against Dragons and Dino Rabbit. The second and the third Effect Failures for against decks that Effect Failure is good against. Like, Effect Failure, like, the only reason why I'm not remaining them is because if I run into a deck that it's completely dead against, Effect Failure is just dead card in the hand. But if I'm playing against a deck that uses a lot of effects, the Effect Failures are crucial. 2 DD Crows, really only good against Dark World, pretty much. Like, 2 Skyscraper, 2 Hero Cities. This card is really nice because replace the field spells. Also, special summoning a hero from your graveyard is really good. In my match against Dark World, I get to special summon a Stratos. I played this to replace his field spell and special summoned a Stratos off of it. It's great. Like, Hero City was really important to me in some of my matches that I sided it in. 2 Soul Takers. Again, you're not running Smashing Ground because Soul Taker is better just because it makes your opponent's Shinings and Light Pulsar Dragons miss the timing. 2 Forbidden Chalice. Effect Negators get your guys stronger. The 3rd Super Poly. In case you're playing against a deck that has a lot of stealable targets, is really broken to side in the 3rd Super Poly against heroes, because you pretty much always have them then, and you can just steal all of their cards. And then 2 Decrees. You're not running traps, so if the Decrees won't really hurt you at all, though it does hurt your opponent. That's the side deck. Extra decks up next. First, you got the only Synchro monster in the deck, Ally of Justice Cataster. Effect Failure plus any of your other guys makes him, and I wouldn't normally include him because it's very, very rarely happens, but you don't want to have to leave in a face-up attack position effect failure on the field, so it's best to get him into something like Cataster. And he's the most versatile of the 5s in my opinion, so that's why it's him. Next, 2 Blade Armor Ninjas for the Blade Armor OTK. One of these would be an Excalibur if I had access to him. But yeah, 2 Blade Armor Ninjas for now. 1 Photon Papilloperative. This card was rather underappreciated for a while, but it's still a really good card. It's a really good card. Detach and Seize material to select one of your opponent's defense position monsters, turn it to attack mode, and it loses 600 attack. Great for forcing those Zen Mines into attack mode and slamming into them a bunch of times, or those wall monsters that you just slam into. This guy got me around a Jalenduo. Get you around Reaper. It's a good card. 1 Maestro, the Symphony Djinn. Opposite of Pappy Operative, flip them face down, protects itself once. 1 Utopia. It's Warrior. Actually, the only non-warrior I've shown you so far is the Maestro. Like, Photon Pappy Operative is, for some reason, a warrior. So they're all equipable by Assault Armor. Utopia. It's big. It's Utopia. Negates attacks. Utopia Ray. Because you're running Mind Control to clear the field. You've got your own Utopia. It's important. If you have room, it's important to run Utopia Ray to be able to stack on your own Utopia or stack on your opponent's Utopia. 1 Gaia Dragon, the Thunder Charger. Again, you're running Mind Control and you have room. It's great stealing your opponent's things like Photon Streak Bouncer, Focus Force, Tiras, monsters that you have difficulty getting around, and then just stacking the Gaia Dragon on top of them. Those are all of my Xyz monsters, and the fusion lineup's pretty standard. 1 Gaia, 1 Nova Master, 1 Great Tornado, 2 copies of The Shining, and 2 copies of E-Hero App Zero. Again, going through this, the only guys I really wish I had access to, I wish I could use my Pearl, just because he's big. I wish I had a Skyridow. I wish I had access to Excalibur. But pretty much everything else is good. Like, the only change that really makes this deck is working in the cards I mentioned before. 1 Skyridow, 1 Excalibur, maybe 2 Max, and Pearl. I hope you guys like the deck. Interview with Drew should be coming shortly. Anyways, this is Aura 1 through 4, signing out.